So, how are we doing today? I know it's a new day, and I wanted to come on and talk about your prepping. When I say that you need to have, water, food, uh, a means of self-defense, medical equipment, things of that nature. So, you got family or friends that think you're nuts, you know, or you got people living with you, that they don't want to prep. Uh, you're going to have to prep for everybody. Just keep prepping. They will be proved wrong, but this thing about I told you so, it's not going to help much when the crap hits the fan. Now there are a lot of different avenues to look at when you're prepping. Uh, Myself, at first, I think I just went out and it was collecting, getting water, cases of water. Because I knew that after about 3.5 days, you're a dead man anyway if you don't have water. And, and then I went after food. And you go to the store and you get the canned goods. You buy them by the cases if you can. You go to dollar stores. Dollar Tree is no longer Dollar Tree, but you go to Family Dollar, you go to Dollar General, things of those nature, and you can get different canned goods, for a reasonable price, and a buck a piece, and stock up. Buy as many cases as you can, and then as you're going out, keep in mind, oh, wait a minute, I can buy, 6 jugs of water here for $6. Well, just go ahead and buy it. It's there. You're there. It's there. You've got the money. Go ahead. You store that too. Now, of course, at Walmart, places like that, you can get water relatively, cheaper. But and it all depends on where you're at the time. Now, you stock up that food, all the canned goods you can, and you get ramen noodles. You get uh, rice, beans, anything, any canned meat you can buy, anything with protein. That's fantastic. Get vegetables because you need the vitamins. All right, and not only that, if you think about it, a can of vegetables is packed in water. Push come to shove, that'll keep you alive. All right, um, and then of course, I personally I went after toiletries. Make sure we have plenty of soap, body soap, stuff like that, and toilet paper, and even those wipes. Uh, get as many of those as you can because if you're having trouble resupplying water, when it hits the fan, you can use those to clean your private areas as well as your underarms and whatever. But to keep women from getting yeast infections and men from getting jock rash, uh, because you have to stay clean. That's all there is to it. I mean, with all the dirt and mess, diseases will come up. And if you get cut, you have to be able to clean yourself up. Make sure you got peroxide. Make sure you got rubbing alcohol, bandages. Me, I went to full boat. I even got sutures, and trauma kits, tourniquets, the whole 9 yards. Uh, and but you do this one piece at a time if you have to do it one piece at a time. Now that backpack that Colorado put out, Denver, and they're going to put out another one on the 24th that they're going to give that away. It's got Q-tips in it. Well, I think it's got Q-tips, but I know it's got cotton balls. It's got a bottle of peroxide. Got some Band-Aids. Uh, it's not really a survival pack. It's one of their bug out bags. There's no way. There's no food, no water. You know, the things they've got might help you if you cut yourself or scrape yourself. You can, clean it up. But that's about it. Uh, you have to think about these things ahead of time. You won't have a store to go to for antibiotics. If you can get any of those, get them. I understand that Canadian Prepper advertised one time about there are some Canadian doctors. You talk to them over the internet, you tell them what your situation is, and they'll give you a prescription for antibiotics. Then you can get them through the mail that way while you can. because when it hits the fan, everything's going to go down. That's straight up. And then you want to talk about you want to go for energy. Now realize like I bought a lift fan, 15 horsepower, brand new, holds 7.5 gallons of gas. But the point I'm saying here is when I start that son of a gun up, it's going to be heard, and I'm going to have to deal with that at that time. But then I also went and got a solar generator. Now, it's not as big as I wanted, but they're damn they can get expensive. And but get the biggest one you can. And then you want to talk about lighting. Okay, candles are good. You know, be careful that you don't start a fire with the darn things because you're going to need them all over to be able to see. Flashlights are all right to me inside, not outside. The light can be seen a long distance away. You have your oil burning lamps. You can get those too and stock up on oil. I've done that too. Sleeping bags, backpacks. Uh, I've gotten respirators, full face mask respirators, just in case there's fires and there's smoke in the air to help you breathe, especially at my age. Of course, I don't care too much because I smoke. Uh, Longevity is for me is not the key. Longevity for my family to me is the key. Uh, you get everything you could tarps, camouflage tarps, even the blue tarps. You get the emergency blankets that'll also hide you from the emergency blankets. They will hide you from infrared, uh, so you can hide in the dark. You know, uh, be able to patrol your area and keep hidden. You're guarding. There's make sure you've got tools, hand tools, yeah, saws, small cutters for branches because you may come down to where you have to cut tree limbs to burn. Of course, they'll take a little bit to dry out, but you get my gist. Wood furniture will help with you tear it apart, burn it, keep warm. But you can't do that in the house, right? Got carbon monoxide. You don't burn charcoal inside, carbon monoxide. So, and I know this is all common sense to a lot of people, but to some it's not. Okay, um, those people with fireplaces, it'll be a little easier for them because they've got a fireplace. They can keep warm that way, but they just got to track down the wood or whatever they're burning. Um, Make sure you've got. Okay, I also bought hazmat suits, uh, for radiation, Geiger counter, things of that nature. Um, and make sure you have a way to clean yourself up before you come back in the house. If it's a radioactive situation. Now, most people won't survive a radioactive situation. Um, that's why, and the rest of the world knows this too. The world leaders, you can't destroy the only planet you've got. If they're colonizing Mars, they're not telling us about it. They're doing the same thing at the moon. They're not telling us about it. And people like us, we're not going to be on the list anyway. Okay, we're on our own. uh, you go over these inventories. You need screwdrivers, things of that nature, hammers, uh, nails. You can set up booby traps like a VC did. You can dig holes and put stakes in them, covering them up. You can put nails through boards, put them out in your yard, cover them up. As far with dirt, the wood part. Let your grass grow, of course, because you don't want to be cutting any grass, period, when the crap hits the fan. All right, because a nice groomed yard tells them, hey, there's got to be something there. So you make it as where you're not as attractable to people invading you, robbing you, killing you. There are, oh man, I'm looking at everything right now. From nails to screws to whatever I can use. I also bought spare respirators. I figure, a gas mask, if they go biological or chemical, we're going to have a hard time anyway. If it's nuclear radiation, 90% of the population would die anyway. They hit nuclear reactors, it's going to spread. If there's no power to keep them things going, it's going to spread because they're going to melt down. Um, I'm looking at the worst case scenarios of things, and then the person will ask, "Well, why the hell would I want to live in a world like that?" Well, self-preservation is something God gives us. It's like procreation. God gives us a need to do that. It's just something you have to be prepared for. Um, I can't show. Well, I won't show you exactly what I have about it. I won't even tell you where I'm at. The point I'm saying is everybody has to do this. Neighbors, especially neighbors. Uh, Now, if you have a swimming pool, you got a water source. And to clean up water, you can, like I said before, you can make a home filter. With a big enough container where you got rocks in the bottom of it, you got dirt, or sand, you got grass, you got coal, that burns from branches and stuff of that nature. Put that in there too, and then you put some more grass and some more rocks, and you get the hint. And you pour it through, and you keep pouring it through till the water's clear. Once it's clear, you boil it, and it's consumable at that time. You can use it. Now there are other ways you can get uh, the tablets that will help sanitize water. You got liquid drops. There's different ways to do it. They got these some places on here, prepper stations will say, "Well, get a Berkey water filter." Well, that's all fine and dandy, but them filters is expensive, and how long are they going to last? All right, so you're going to have to come up with something uh, unique to survive. All right. Now, if you have an abundance of stuff and you see that uh, the community's lost their mind and they're starting to rob homes, things of that nature, you can bury your food. Hence the tarps too. If you bought freeze-dried food from one of these companies, all that can be buried. Your canned goods can be buried. If you've got your rice and beans in a container, that can be buried, and it can all cover it up. You can cover it all up, protect it with one of these tarps. All right, and then nobody knows what the hell you got. You spread that dirt around. That's what I would do. Um, that way you know where it's at, and those in your clique know where it's at. All right. Now you have to watch each. You're gonna have to watch each other anyway because at first everybody's gonna be wanting to play a part, do their thing. Some will have gardening skills, some will have carpentry skills, some will have uh, just different kind of skills. You know that okay to get rid of your waste products, from your own body. Now you stock up on plastic bags, the Ziploc trash can type. You have a bucket. You can use one of those uh, foam things the kids hit each other with. Use that as around the edge of the bucket, so you have something soft to sit on if you can't afford one with a regular, toilet seat. But then you empty when somebody does their business, have some dirt next to it or some lime, you know, to be able to cover it up. Now, when the bag gets about, where you think it's full enough, take it out and bury it. All right, and you keep it away. Just take it out and bury it. Now, if someone dies, unfortunately, what you have to deal with. Now, you have to obviously dispose of the body, loved one or not. Now, you don't carry extra coffins in your garage. Um, if you can't make a coffin, then you use a blanket or anything to cover the person up after you've dug the hole. You're going to have to bury this person. You don't want to burn this person. because it'll attract too much attention. Fire. Now, at first, there'll be fires all over the dang place because people are going to lose their mind, right? But after a while, no, it won't be. People will die from disease. They'll die from hunger. They'll die from thirst. They'll die because they got shot or stabbed or robbed. There'll be many ways. Or infection. Because there's no penicillin, nothing to help them because they don't have these. Well, they just don't have these things. Now, these are just a few of the things you have to think about. If you got family members with you in your home, see if you can get one or two of them to, if not all of them, to study CPR, to study basic first aid, the use of a tourniquet, when you use a tourniquet, when you don't. See if you have someone that's willing enough to have to play doctor by sewing somebody up. Now, you're still going to deal with infections. Hence, try to get as many antibiotics as you can. If you're on regular medication, try to get as much of that as you can, even going forward, like 90 days supply. At least have that on hand. That'll give you a start to figure out something because drugstores, pharmacies, hospitals, they're all going to get raided sooner or later. And with nothing being able to replenish things, if they don't get raided, they're going to run out. Excuse me. The more and more I think about this and see what's going on YouTube, I understand the necessity and the need for somebody, just a regular person, that's not selling anything, not asking for anything, to come on here and let you know that, I'm not a fool. I didn't live this long being stupid, okay? I know what to look for. I know what you're going to need. And it's up to you. The Marine Corps, we used to have to, stay out in the field, things of that nature, dig our own trenches for waste and eat our sea rations and things of that nature. But, that's another food source too, MREs. Now, they only come in about 12 meals per box, and they're running about $140 on the internet. Amazon, things like that. There's other food sources like that, and make sure you got plenty of seeds. If you can grow food, look, it doesn't take much to grow. Make a little garden. Don't overplant it. Just enough to get it started, and where you can like potatoes, keep them cool in a dark area. You got your tomatoes. You can you can jar. There's all kinds of things you can do. I don't know how to personally can. Okay, so I have to work myself around that. Not that I'm too, lazy and I won't learn how. It's not a priority on my list. Um, but these type of things, if you'll sit down and just look a little bit and think, always think the worst case scenario, because if it doesn't happen, that's even better. But if it does, you're not surprised and you're prepared for it. Now, think about the worst case scenario that could happen. Look at what's happening around the world, what each country is doing, what our own country is doing, and what they're not doing. One, they don't care if you're cold, hot, or it doesn't matter. They're not helping with utility bills. That's for damn sure. They're not. The stimulus checks have stopped. The only one getting stimulus checks out of the United States right now is Ukraine, Taiwan, and other countries. The overflow at the border is just too damn much. It's putting so much strain on states, cities, and states that you can't handle it. The homeless population is growing exponentially. Uh, it doesn't take much to see it. It doesn't take much to add it up. You know, if you just sit there and don't do anything, it's your fault. You know, when you run out of something because you didn't even bother to try to prep, it's your fault, not mine, not anybody else, not your sisters, brothers, dads, moms, or children's. It's your fault. And when they're hungry, it'll be your fault. You know, do you realize how many people out here aren't going to prepare and they have children? When them children start getting hungry, that mom and that dad, they're going to become something they never thought they would because, for their children. They'll become murderers, thieves, you name it, to make sure that their kids get food and water, whatever they need. There'll be so many people fighting back and forth. They're going to be dead all over the damn place. Cops aren't coming. The military is not big enough to patrol every place. It's just not going to happen. They say, well, you got the drones, you got this, you got that. It ain't going to help you when you're being attacked. It's going to be you. You're the one stepping forward. You're the one stepping up. You have to. So get your family and friends together and get them on the right page. This game out here is not really a game. It is to those to the leaders of the world. You damn straight it is, because they have an objective and they're going to make sure they make that objective, and we have to do the suffering in the between time. Now I'm going to let you go for a little bit, and God bless you, and I hope that you make the right decisions. Okay, I'll see you next time.